you pick the people to run those agencies and the deputies that are pledging allegiance to the New World Order and good governance. And then I think you have the Inspector General do some spot audits to make sure that there is real compliance.
That was the mayor of Chicago talking about the New World Order. What if I told you that elites around the world were gathering? You'd probably say, that's not news. I've known about the Bilderberg Group for years. I've known about Bohemian Grove for years. So that's not news, and I agree with you. But those billionaire meetings all took place in private. Their agendas didn't leak. What if I told you that now, elites and politicians around the world were meeting and doing it in public? They call the agenda the Great Reset. What is it? Let's get into it. We all know Trump's slogan, Make America Great Again. Do you remember Biden's? I do. It's Build Back Better. I remember when I read it for the first time, I thought it was odd. I don't know, it was just something too simple about it. The real odd thing, though, is that I started seeing it around the world. Different politicians, different institutions were using the same exact slogan at the same exact time. Isn't that odd? Is there an explanation for this? Yes, there is. In April, the UN announced that as the world begins planning for a post-pandemic recovery, the United Nations is calling on governments to seize the opportunity to build back better. There she is. At the same time, the UN is calling for a restart of the world's economy. And that's where Build Back Better and Restart come together to make the Great Reset. But what is the Great Reset? Well, shit. Why don't I just show you their ad?
Oh, lovely. As someone who made ads for many years for a living, let me tell you that that is just about as cliched and vomit-inducing as the most inane corporate ad can possibly be. But let me deconstruct it for you. In a nutshell, this promo is saying that all the very worst things in the world, from the coronavirus to bushfires, to riots, to pollution, to poverty, are somehow linked.
He's right, you know. The Great Reset calls for radical green laws, to solve racial and gender inequality, to solve poverty. How are you going to do all those things? They are claiming that with bigger government and bigger corporations, then poof, all your problems go away. If someone talks about the Great Reset in a negative light, they are immediately discredited or talked about as a conspiracy theorist. This happened to Bishop Vigano when he sent an open letter to Donald Trump warning him of the Great Reset. I'll let Tucker explain what happened.
There aren't any studies that support that. So what is going on? Catholic Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano has some idea, has thought about it. Vigano is one of the truth tellers in his church. He made himself deeply unpopular several years ago with many in the hierarchy by exposing their complicity in decades of sex abuse. They hate him for it. But Vigano is 79 years old, and in the way that older people stop caring what others think, he really doesn't care. So instead he says what he thinks is true. A few weeks ago, he wrote a letter to President Donald Trump assessing the lockdowns from a perspective you almost never hear in this country. No one, up until last February, Vigano wrote, would ever have thought that in all of our cities, citizens would be arrested simply for wanting to walk down the street, to breathe, to want to keep their businesses open, to want to go to church on Sunday. Yet now it is happening all over the world. The fundamental rights of citizens and believers are being denied in the name of a health emergency that is revealing itself more and more fully as instrumental to the establishment of an inhuman, faceless tyranny." End quote. Now, you may not have heard those words before, and there's a reason for that. The usual foot soldiers for conformity in our news media did their best to suppress and discredit Vagano's letter to the president. Yahoo News tried to tie the elderly clergyman somehow to QAnon, which to them made sense. He alleged that a global health emergency was being used by the people in power for ends that had nothing to do with the virus itself. And of course, that's crazy talk. It's a conspiracy theory, Russian disinformation, probably racist. Better pull it off the internet right away. Censor those ideas before they infect the whole country. That's the media position on that. The only problem is that what Vagano wrote is actually true. It's not a conspiracy theory. It is factually accurate. Watch this video from September. You may not have seen it. It wasn't played much in this country. This is the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, speaking to the United Nations.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
Oh, this is our chance, says Justin Trudeau. Not our chance to save you from a virus with a 99% survival rate. You'll almost certainly be fine, and they're fully aware of that. This is our chance to impose totally unprecedented social controls on the population in order to bypass democracy and change everything to conform with their weird academic theories that have never been tested in the real world and, by the way, don't actually make sense.
This is not conspiracy theory. This is an actual conspiracy. With bigger government and bigger corporations comes more censorship and less property rights. Is this what you want? Comment down below, because I don't think that's what anyone wants, other than the AOC lefties. The World Economic Forum is leading the charge when it comes to the Great Reset. They are the ones who published the ad I showed you earlier. Charles Schwab is the founder and leader of the World Economic Forum. He wrote this book. Not even hiding it. Recently, the World Economic Forum published this article. They are trying to normalize this. They want you to have zero privacy, zero property rights. And that's a very slippery slope. They basically want the government to own you. Let me read you an excerpt from this article. It's scary. Once in a while, I get annoyed about the fact that I have no real privacy. Nowhere I can go and not be registered. I know that somewhere, everything I do, think, and dream of is recorded. I just hope that nobody will use it against me. Holy shit. To finish off this topic, I want to read you the last paragraph of an article published in The Hill. Prince Charles was right. The present pandemic is a golden opportunity for radical change. And if Al Gore, Prince Charles, and the rest of the World Economic Forum can convince enough people that attempting to stop climate change is also worth dramatically pushing humanity towards greater government control, then radical and catastrophic change is exactly what we're going to get. Coronavirus. A golden opportunity. That's how the elites think. Since this was a bit of a darker topic, why don't we talk about something a little more funny today, like dumbest tweets of the day. That's always a fun segment. Last night, Georgia County, Floyd County, uncovered 2,600 votes. They got lost, unregistered, uncounted somehow. I wonder why. I'll tell you why right now, because there was more votes for Trump than for Biden. So what happened was 2,600 votes were found. At the end of the counting, Trump had a net gain of 800, and the dummy, super lefty Twitter users went on a rampage. It was wonderful, because they were all so wrong. Check this out. First one. Additional votes in Georgia, 800 for Trump, 1,800 for Biden. Biden still ahead, by a lot, because math. This guy doesn't know what net gain means. Probably never made a profit his whole life. Let's look at another one. Man, they did a whole recount in Floyd County just to find 1,800 more votes for Biden and only 800 for Trump? Let's do one more. We don't have time to go through all of them, but let's do one more. They found 800 for Trump and another 1,900 for Biden. Trump loses again. This is sad. That guy actually ended up correcting himself in the comments, but the other ones didn't. Very sad. Anyway, what's your opinion on the Great Reset? Comment down below. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Ginger out.